Hello again. I wanted to go over some things. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on why I'm still concerned about this and why it potentially applies to people like me and other animators out there about COPPA and stuff like that. If you haven't seen the previous video, it's linked below. Just go ahead and watch that first if you aren't caught up. Because this is sort of the sequel. It's a continuation of that. I do stress in that video that there is a possibility of getting fined, and it's still kind of muddy. It's still very unclear if YouTube's liable for that fine or if the creators are liable for that fine. There's wording out there that's saying that COPPA compliance is purely on the creators now, but I don't know if it's still on YouTube because YouTube's based in the United States and COPPA is only, I don't know. It's so muddy right now, and I don't know whether or not this fine thing is being blown out of proportion. And keep in mind that this $42,000 number is a maximum, and it is also a real number. I've heard some people say that this isn't a number that exists. It can't be sourced. That's not true. It's actually in the FTC's website. In their FAQ, I'll have that linked below. In their FAQ regarding COPPA compliance, there is an actual source for that number there. It's in the section where they go over punishments regarding people that violate COPPA. Or companies that violate COPPA. I'm still not sure what this YouTube situation is, but generally it's companies that have to comply. But apparently YouTubers are supposed to be held accountable now. I'm still so unsure on that. And the fact that I'm so unsure on how that affects me, I don't know. The uncertainty of everything is really scary. I wish there was clarifications on, like, official clarifications on what all this stuff means. Because it's very, very unclear. Anyway, I want to go over more about the actual definition of what is for kids and what is not for kids. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the YouTube page. The things that this YouTube page is saying regarding what's for kids is echoing what the FTC is saying. Like, a lot of the stuff that they say does appear in the FAQ as well, so it's not just YouTube saying this stuff. So, anyway, let's continue. I also have this YouTube thing linked below as well. The things I'm about to go over. So there's several things you have to consider when deciding whether your video is for kids or not. So here's what they are. So the general subject matter of the video, for example, educational content for preschoolers. I'm not sure if this applies to me because, again, the type of content I do, I make animations based off of franchises that you could consider are for kids, so I don't know. That alone, it's hard to say. Again, it's vague, and I don't know. Whether children are intended or actual audience for the video. For me, I'm definitely not intending for children to be my audience. Like, my animations sure can be watched by kids. Like, I don't worry if kids watch my content because I don't think my animation content in general is supposed to be inappropriate or anything. But it's not really what this thing is all about. It's about, like, data collection about children, but I'll get into that. Anyway, yeah, I'm not intending my content to be just for children, and I'm pretty sure most of the people that watch my content aren't children. It's mostly like the adult fan base that watches my content. Whether the video includes child actors or models does not apply. Whether the video contains characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated characters or cartoon figures. This is the smoking gun for me. My Little Pony can appeal to children. Pokemon can appeal to children. I make animations of these franchises, fan animations of these existing kids franchises that you can consider them to be for kids, even though they can be for anyone. Both Pokemon and My Little Pony has adult audiences. We all know this. The fact that it says these things and doesn't clarify anything else other than it's just, you should consider if it has animated characters that appeal to children. I mean, I'm not trying to appeal to kids. I'm not trying to appeal to that specific demographic. Both Pokemon and My Little Pony has adult demographics. That is just a fact. Obviously, like, the main marketing of these two franchises are directed towards children, but there is an existing fan base for both of these franchises that are very mature. They're adults. And that's mainly what my audience is. And that's mainly what I want to make my videos for, even though that these franchises can be considered to be for kids. That's what's scary to me. If I'm wrong, and if I choose to say, okay, my videos, my animations are not for kids, I'm going to mark it as not for kids. If for whatever reason, however unlikely, the FTC decides that my animations for My Little Pony or Pokemon, probably My Little Pony, that's more likely, is supposed to be directed for kids, and they see that it's marked for not for kids, and they think that I'm trying to bypass the regulation or the law, even though that's not what I'm trying to do. My animations are not meant to just be for kids. I'm making content for mainly the adult audience, but if kids watch it, like, it's whatever. But I'm not targeting that. That's what's scary about it. I'm in this gray area, and I don't know. I've seen a lot of videos at this point saying that people are too worried about this, they are paranoid or whatever. But I just see myself in this gray area here. Just by the letter of the law, and what the FTC is saying. And again, this YouTube information is echoing what the FTC is saying in their FAQ. These both will be linked below. And I'm worried that not just me, but animation channels in general could end up being collateral damage. Even if it's not everyone, there could be some channels out there that the FTC just happens to decide is supposed to be for kids, and they're saying that they're not for kids. The creators themselves are saying, no, we're not for kids, but FTC disagrees. Even if some channels are like that, there could be collateral damage, and that's worrying to me because of how vague this is, of how broad this particular part is in general. Like, obviously, these regulations are meant to target blatant violators of COPPA, right? They're meant to target people that are trying to benefit off of the data collection of minors, of not just minors, actually, it's just kids. Minors are 18 and younger, kids are 13 and younger. You're discussing the 13 and younger part. This law is directed and meant for that kind of behavior, that kind of creator, that kind of channel owner that does that kind of stuff. I know that's the intent. But what the regulations are saying covers more than just that. It seems like that can cause collateral damage if the FTC just looks at what the law says, looks at this channel that does this animation stuff, thinks it's appealing for kids. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe most of the time they'll say, okay, this animation stuff, they're probably not targeting kids specifically, but what if they don't? What if they don't? What will they do? What if what they're reading from the law and they see this channel that does animations and they just think that it's meant for kids because it's animations, it's cartoony, it's colorful. And for my case, I make animations for existing franchises as fan content. What will they think? And again, like I said, this is meant to be targeted towards people that do data collection or benefit off of the data collection of kids. That's the intent, but I'm still not sure if it applies to people that don't even monetize their content. That's still something I'm not sure on. Probably not, but the fact that I'm not comfortable in saying that it's not the case is worrying because I don't know. It's not clear. I just worry about collateral damage because of how the regulations are worded. If they make a mistake and they say an animation channel is supposed to be for kids when they say that it isn't, when the creators say that it isn't, that just worries me. The wording here is just concerning to me. Is it intentionally vague? Yeah, probably. Like, they have to make sure that what they write down is going to cover every case that they find is violating their regulation. They want to make sure they cover their bases. So they can't be too specific, otherwise there's going to be so many loopholes, right? But I'm still concerned about the collateral damage just because of how vague this is. Regardless of that. Anyway, let's move on to these other parts. I'll be quick. Whether the language of the video is intended for children to understand, that's not the intent of my content. So I would say I don't apply to this. Maybe. It's vague, but I probably wouldn't be too concerned about this personally. I'm way more concerned about what I said before. Whether the video includes activities that appeal to children, such as play acting, simple songs or games, or early education, that does not apply to me. That's like preschool stuff that they're implying there, so I'm pretty confident I don't apply to that one. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is kind of implying preschool age stuff. Maybe if they were to clarify the animation stuff and clearly say that, like, if this animation or cartoony stuff is clearly targeted towards young children, like preschool age stuff, which neither of these franchises do. They're more for the more mature kids audience, mostly. Again, My Little Pony might be a bit lower, but I don't know. And I get that it's supposed to be vague, but it's almost too vague for me to feel comfortable with this going through. So that's why I'm concerned. Whether the video includes songs, stories, or poems for children, that does not apply. Any other information you may have to help determine your video's audience, like empirical evidence of the video's audience, which, again, no. I would say no, my content is not meant for children. It's not meant specifically for that audience. It's for everyone. So even if we get rid of this fine thing, which has potentially been blown out of proportion a bit, because, again, that $42,000 number is a maximum. It's very, very likely that normal content creators, especially ones that aren't clearly violating or like actually deliberately trying to benefit off of data mine or data collection of kids. That's my train of thought. Like it's probably not gonna be that much. It's not gonna be 42,000, unless you're one of those people that actually do go out and do this very illegal stuff. Whether or not this type of fine is applied to YouTube or the content creators is still up in the air, I don't know. And would someone like me get fined? Possibly not. And even if we get rid of that factor completely, like I'm still in this gray area. And especially for animators out there that actually do monetize their animations. I don't, but there are that do. There are animators out there that do rely on their ad revenue. They would like to not have that gone. I still feel like this would affect people like that. And I'm still worried if it will affect me. I'm still not too sure right now. I'm still concerned. I can't speak too much for other types of content, like making videos off of games that can be considered for kids, let's plays or commentary videos or anything based off of them. I'm not sure where the line's drawn for that. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for it. If that's something you want to find out more, you're going to have to look into it yourself. Because that's not something I'm too concerned about. That doesn't apply to me nearly as much. I do have a gaming channel. It's not like a Let's Play channel. It's more so like whenever I go over content related to games, I upload there. And it's not specifically meant to be just like... Anyway. I'm not too concerned about that channel, honestly. I think I can probably leave the stuff I have on that channel up, probably. There's probably a few things I want to look into, like I have some Rayman Legends, like, tutorial stuff for speedrunning, because that's a game I used to speedrun before. And to an extent, I'm still involved in that community. I just don't, like, play the game nearly as much as I used to. But I do have videos up there that I might need to look into. But other than that, I think I'm okay on that channel. So I don't know. Maybe this is getting blown out of proportion for other types of content. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to speak for it more than I already have. It's something you should look into. Like, don't just rely on what I say. I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to interpret what I'm looking at, and I'm voicing why I'm concerned. I'm not saying that you should do certain things to make sure you're fine or whatever. I can't give advice. I've seen people that responded to my previous video saying that they want to get rid of their content. I hope they haven't done that yet, because this isn't put into effect until later, not until next year. So if that's something you want to do, try not to do it yet, because there's still possibilities of things being misunderstood due to the vagueness of everything. Maybe things will get changed. Just hold on. Just wait and see. And stay in tune to this. If you think this is going to affect you, stay in tune to this whole situation. I'm going to do that. And like I said, there is a possibility that this is blown out of proportion. But I'm not sure if it is. It's uncertain. I don't know. Stay in tune. Pay attention. If you think this is affecting you, pay attention to everything that's surrounding this whole situation. Don't make hasty judgments. Don't just start deleting your content if you think you're violating. Be sure of that. And even if you think it is, wait it out. Maybe something will change or something will get clarified. But right now, I'm still pretty concerned. As for what my plan is still, like my statement from my previous video where I was going to start purging my content if this doesn't change by the end of the year, that's still in effect. Because everything's still so vague, and I'm still not confident in anything in this situation that I just don't want to worry about it. I don't want to worry about getting something wrong. If you're wrong on this, the consequences could be quite vast. Maybe not. It probably won't be vast, but it could be. So I'm just worried about that. If nothing changes or nothing's clarified, I'm still going to carry out with that. But until then, I will still upload some content before the end of the year, anticipating that something will change or something will get clarified. Try to ignore the situation up until then. But if nothing changes by then I'll have to purge. I'll have to private all my videos. If something changes after like the start of the year, like maybe sometime next year in the middle of it, if things change, maybe I'll unprivate the videos and they'll come back. Because I'm not going to delete the channel. I will be just getting rid of the videos on the channel, because that's the main concern. Like, I'll just private the videos, and if it changes, I'll bring them back. That's just my plan in general. The content I had planned on making, like recently, my Patreon goal was met to where I would start preparing my 3D models for My Little Pony to be released to the public. I'll probably make a video going over how to use the models and stuff like that, because people will be able to use them now, because they've never been able to be used by other people, because I've never published them. I mean, now that the Patreon goal is met, I'll be making them public sometime next month, hopefully, if everything goes to plan. The fact that I've been so distracted with so many things this month, I might be a bit late, but we'll see. That's the plan. That's the main thing that's on my horizons that I'll probably get done, before the end of the year. So you can at least expect that. I'll still be doing that, regardless of what's happening. It's just that if by the turn of the decade, by 2020, if nothing's changed, nothing's clarified, then yeah. I'll have to just find somewhere else to upload videos. I'm not sure if it'll be temporary or if it'll be permanent. I'm not sure, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, this is a pretty sad situation, but I'll try to look past it for now. I'll stay in tune. I'll still pay attention to it. I'll just try to not let it affect what I'm doing until it's time, until it's actually time to, until it's in effect. So, yeah, that's just a bit rambly than before. This is completely unscripted. I just have like an outline here. Nothing's scripted, really. It's just an outline. And yeah, that was rambly. Anyway, I should see you guys later. Definitely sometime next month. Whether or not I'll still be around on YouTube by the start of next year, who knows. I'll still have an account, just without videos on it. Depends on how things go. We'll see.